Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Major Kill. And the topic for today's video is an interesting one. Every time a Space Marine changed their chapter/legion. I mean, this must be some sort of rare occurrence or like a special occasion type of thing. Like I know the Death Watch, and it's made up of basically veteran Space Marines from all sorts of different chapters and stuff like that. But as for just Space Marines just changing their chapter/legion, it has to be like a rare occurrence. Like obviously, what is it like after the 2nd and 11th Primarch were expunged? What's the whole lore? Their Space Marines were basically like mind wiped, and then they were brought over to join the Ultramarines, I believe is what it was. A rare occurrence. Maybe there was a Space Marine chapter that was, in a battle, and that Space Marine chapter got pretty much obliterated. Maybe there's like, I don't know, 24 Space Marines of that chapter left. And instead of reinforcing that entire chapter with, however many Space Marines, maybe it was just, all right, you know what? There's only like 25 of these Space Marines left from this chapter. Let's just dissolve this chapter, and then we'll transfer those Space Marines into another Legion, even if it does go over the whole 1,000. I'm sure there's some Space Marine chapters that, are a little over 1,000, but still, like 1,000. Like maybe there's some Space Marine chapters that have like 1,050 Space Marines, but they're still, like at 1,000, so that'd be like another special occurrence, but as for just like Space Marines just changing their chapter/legion like willy-nilly, that I don't know how, like, can that happen? How would that work? Because if you're, I don't know, a White Scar, and you get the makeup of Jagatai Khan, who's all about speed. And you're like, you know what? I want to be an Imperial Fist. Well, now everything you've been trained in your genetic makeup of speed, now you got to become all about defensive positioning and fortifications. How does that work? Do you get retrained? You got to get retrained or something like that, because it's like, hey, we're not about speed in this chapter. We're about like building fortifications and letting them come to us. We don't go to them, they come to us. We'll build walls and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's gotta be interesting, but I'm guessing it's just more about the rare occurrence and special occasions and stuff like that. That's my guess. But yeah, let's get into the video and find out, shall we? Here we go.
G'day guys and gal. Space Marines are generally pretty bloody loyal to their chapters and legions. They will often follow their battle brothers into damnation or extinction rather than abandon them. Even when they do abandon their chapter or legion, often they will still wear their heraldry and colours, proclaiming themselves to be true examples of their legion and the rest of their brothers.
Oh, and maybe, yeah. I wonder if there is, I'm sure there must be some loyalist traitors, although probably not, is my guess. I mean, once you find out like a chapter goes traitor, even if there's like a handful of Space Marines that are like, no, I'm not joining them, that chaos shit looks too whack. I ain't having like, Nurgle plague and my guts hanging out and stuff like that. Like, nope, I'm good. No, I'm still loyal. Are you sure? I don't know. Can we trust that? I don't know. Or maybe that is another special occurrence. Like maybe there was some traitor Space Marines that were like, no, I'm not joining that. No, they went traitor. Yeah, no, I ain't gonna be foaming at the mouth and bloodthirsty, corn worshiper, or turn to magical dust from Tzeentch. No, I'm still with you guys instead. That's a little, it's a little too much for me. But yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe that is a special occurrence. Or special occasion.
However, there are times when a space marine, through extreme circumstances, will just straight up abandon their legion or chapter, joining up with another one and being accepted as an equal. No, I am not just talking about black shields, those who scrub their legion and go rogue. I'm talking about
black shields. Okay.
Since it's so rare and the requirements for this weapon are so extreme, it actually makes for some seriously interesting lore.
Because it's got to be a rare occurrence and a special occasion.
Working on or my own brands
like I said, I doubt you can just change your chapter just willy-nilly.
Companies I'm already a customer of, and why I love promoting stuff like dice dioramas or major meetings. Well, as I've said in a previous video, I'm also...
Let me go back. I want to see that diorama. That thing looks pretty cool. Oop, did I go back too far?
I would always much rather talk about things I'm working on or my own brands during these intro segments rather than promote another brand. That is why I only promote sponsors of companies I'm already a customer of, and why I love promoting stuff like dice diorama.
Damn! That looks awesome. That looks badass, not gonna lie. That looks so cool.
Well, as I've said in a previous video, I'm also launching my own supplement brand called Natty Plus Subs, with the idea of why take dozens of different single ingredient supplements, paying $30 for each bottle, when you can just crush synergistic supplements together. See, most of what's in a supplement is filler, as if you take 250 milligrams of something, that only really fills a quarter to a half of a normal capsule. But if you replace the filler with more ingredients to boost the effect of the original supplement, you're taking the same amount of capsules but getting more benefits. This is what I used to take. This is what I am taking now. I'm spending a third of the money and taking a third of the supplements. It just makes sense. All of our ingredients are backed with scientific studies, are all natural, no drug testing failing nonsense. If you think it's just snake oil, just Google the sups or use ChatGPT. We ran our own human trials and the test booster netted a 50% increase in testosterone, and the liver support stack massively reduced liver enzyme count, which is a good thing by the way. I was taking the liver support stack while binge drinking in Europe, and my liver enzymes have never been lower. This shit works, and if you don't believe it, then no worries, don't buy it. The supplements are launching in about 10 days, so we're running a 50% off pre-sale sign-up waitlist. So you sign up, on launch you get a 50% discount code. We will never run this discount again. It's a way of saying thank you for supporting us, as well as getting the product out there. Link is below. Today we'll go over each time a space marine defected to a new chapter.
I saw what he did there.
Unwillingly. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Now it is hard to say what dictates a genuine move from one legion to another. Many of the shattered legions grouped up into warbands. At times, those warbands were like 100 Iron Hands, 1 Salamander, 1 Raven Guard. Does that mean that the Salamander and Raven Guard joined the Iron Hands Legion?
No.
Fuck no, it doesn't. It was just how the cookie crumbled, and they would have gladly rejoined their legions at the first opportunity, so I won't be counting them. I'll start with the more broad strokes of legion defection before we drill down on the...
Makes sense. You get separated from a chapter and you come across another chapter, you just join them until you can regroup your chapter.
That algorithm. Technically, every member of the Black Legion is made up of defectors from all other legions and chapters. It was born from the ashes of the Sons of Horus, but also gained a ton of warriors from other legion. Iskander Kaon, Abaddon's right-hand man, left the Thousand Sons to join the Black Legion. Likewise, his inner circle is made up of a former Wordbearer, a former Emperor's Children, a former World Eater, a former Iron Warrior, and a former Death Guard. So the Black Legion is the best example of mass legion and defection. But Chaos Legions do chaotic shit, so it's expected from them. It's more so the Loyalist...
So at least he's got advisors from every other Chaos chapter.
On the Loyalist side, the other broad stroke example is all the Loyalist Marines from Traitor Legions who lived long enough to form Malcador's Knights Errant. Nathaniel Garro forsook his Death Guard origins. The Knights Errant also included World Eaters, Night Lords, Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors, and so on. Garviel Logan defected from the Sons of Horus to...
So Knights Errant were non-traitor Space Marines, right? So all the traitor Space Marines that didn't want to turn traitor, okay, so they were able to stay with the Imperium. Okay.
Become a lunar wolf once again, the last of his kind by the end of the heresy. Many of the Knights Errant, well pretty much all the Psyker Knights Errant, would go on to become the founding members of the Grey Knights, so they technically did end up doing a double defection. A pretty interesting one.
Interesting,
which, while it doesn't really count, it's still worth mentioning, is the case of Torgan Khan of the White Scars. On Terra, he was training to become an Astartes. More accurately, he was in the Lunar Wolves recruitment program. He idolized Horus, and his philosophies aligned with the Lunar Wolves. However, he just missed the cut and instead became a White Scar, something he resented. So when the Warmaster tried to get the White Scars on his side, Torgan was one of the White Scars who went traitor and tried to usurp the Legion. If he was successful, I would have no doubt he would have eventually migrated to the Sons of Horus, potentially replacing one of his pauldrons with an Eye of Horus, but the uprising was ended by an extremely pissed off Jaghatai Khan. The Raven Guard and Night Lords are often seen as two sides of the same coin. Both have black eyes, both like jump packs and lightning claws, both are stealth specialists. However, where the Raven Guard are the greater of the two in stealth, the Night Lords are the masters of terror. So it may come as not too much surprise that there has actually been a fair bit of defection between the two legions during the Horus Heresy. Kasati Nuon was disgusted by the Night Lords who betrayed the Emperor, slaughtering many of his brothers before
so he went to become a Raven Wing instead.
Adopted by them for the rest of the heresy, fighting in the battles of Cariandru and the Battle of Yarant.
Okay.
He was fully immersed and only left when Corvus ordered all non-true Raven Guard elements of the Legion to go to Terra and prepare its defences. On the flip side, Alastol Rushal was a Raven Guard who joined up with the Night Lords. It's unclear how this defection occurred, but it seems like he survived the Dropside Massacre and was captured by the Night Lords. He indicated that he was happy to join the Night Lords if it meant he would survive, so the Night Lords tortured him and cut off his tongue before allowing him to join their ranks. Sevatar liked him a lot and even called him the Raven. Eventually, the Raven would actually become a high-ranking Night Lord, joining the Chiroptera, a council of captains, and even becoming one of Sevatar's closest allies, wearing his Raven Guard armor the entire time. Solid turnaround. Seems like the Night Lords are actually pretty popular, as this wasn't the only case of Marines defecting to join them. Varial the Flayer was a very esteemed member of the Red Corsairs. He was their second highest ranking apothecary, enjoyed a lot of privileges, and was even chosen by Huron Blackheart as one of his warriors to attend to and treat his horrific injuries.
Oh, Huron Blackheart.
A respected Night Lord captain of First Claw. When the Night Lords sought aid from the Red Corsairs, they noticed the Corsairs controlled a Night Lord strike cruiser. This was an insult to the Night Lord Legion, and Talos vowed to get it back. He invited Varial to join the Night Lords as a brother, and Varial accepted, ditching his warband and helping the Night Lords steal back their Legion ship, killing a lot of Red Corsairs in the process. Varial would go on to wear Night Lord's armor and colors, being fully embraced as a part of the Legion, and even going on to be the only survivor of First Claw. Dude must have hated the color red or something. In a more tragic tale of Legion defection, Reviel Arvida was sent away from Prospero before the wolves attacked, returning home to find his world a ruin. Even worse, he and his brothers were attacked by World Eaters, with himself being the only survivor. He was forced to wander his destroyed home, fighting off predators and parasites until the White Scars came and saved him. He became their ward, fighting alongside them as a powerful sorcerer and loyalist. They taught him much of their way and embraced him as a brother.
Not
He even
bad.
fashioned a new pauldron for him, which honoured both his old legion and his new one.
Oh, wow.
However, out of respect for the Thousand Sons, Arvida initially refused the honour and was proud of his heritage, but for all intents and purposes, he was now a part of the White Scars and would remain so until he was merged with the noble shard of Magnus and became Janus, the first Grand Master of the Grey Knights. So you could say he went from a Thousand Son to a White Scar to a Grey Knight.
That's
another
impressive.
example of a Space Marine ditching his legion to join another but still honouring his old, we have Barabbas Dantioch. He was once Perturabo's favoured son, but when he poked holes in his Primarch strategy, he was banished. When an Iron Warrior envoy came to him to tell him that he
Probably
was
did
not
him a
traitor,
favor.
Dantioch was like, okay buddy, and then proceeded to obliterate the shit out of an entire Traitor Legion siege force, capture their ship, and escape to Ultramar. He then more or less became an Ultramarine siege master, working alongside the Loyalists until his noble death. This is a bit of a stretch though, since at no point would Dantioch have considered him anything else other than a true Iron Warrior, but in practice he was pretty ultra. This next one is pretty wild, but one of my absolute favourite examples. There exists an Alpha Legion warband with no Alpha Legionnaires in it. Well, they are, but they don't have Alpha Legionnaire gene seed. They are made up of a Mentor, a Relictor, a Fallen Dark Angel, a Night Lord, and a Nova Marine. This warband considers themselves loyal to the Emperor and actively attempts to cull weak parts of the Imperium. These would be the type of Alpha Legionnaires who would find out about a Chaos plot to invade an important Imperial world, so they would attack it and do minor damage to it before running away, drawing a large Imperial force to it, so the planet would be more prepared for the main Chaos assault to come. That's sort of wacky
pretty smart.
Alpha Legionnaire loyalist shit. The final example of today I can name is cool because it's one of a kind. See, when most Marines change Legion, Chapter, or Warband, it's usually going from a Loyalist to a Traitor or vice versa. A Marine changing from one Loyalist chapter to another pretty much never happens, as the first chapter approving it is unlikely, the second chapter approving it is also unlikely, a Marine not getting executed for desertion or heresy is also really unlikely. However,
I didn't think of that.
From the Mentors chapter, after a shitload of fuckery that I won't delve into because it almost needs its own video, ends up leaving his chapter and joining the Emperor's Spears, going from one Loyalist chapter to another one in a permanent capacity. The only case of this happening I have actually ever seen. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then join the Natty Plus subs waitlist. This will net you a 50% off discount at launch. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more defective content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
All right, so there we go. There is the video. Very interesting. And of course, like I thought, it was more about a rare occurrence or a special occasion. Now, one thing I didn't think about was with Loyalist Space Marines going from one Loyalist chapter to another Loyalist chapter is obviously getting approval from the Loyalist chapter that you belong to, signing off on you leaving, and of course the Loyalist chapter signing off on you joining them. I did not think of that, but yeah, that was very interesting. And then of course I didn't think about, you know, the Loyalist Marines going traitor, Black Legion, obviously. Black Shields was very interesting. Didn't really know too much about them, but I guess they're made up of all sorts of different Space Marines that dropped all their heraldry and stuff like that, and just kind of went nomad, basically. And then, of course, having the Night Lord joining the Raven Wing, and the Raven Wing joining the Night Lords. That was very interesting, too. And then, I guess, some Traitor Space Marines coming back Loyalists. I don't know how they swing that one, but you'd figure there'd be a little distrust there, you know. Well, you were Loyalist, then you went Traitor, and now you want to be Loyalist again? How do we know you're not just here to, like, sabotage or, you know, gather information and share intel and stuff like that? It'd be a little suspicious there, you know what I mean? But apparently it happens. And then, of course, the other one, what was it?
Many of the Shattered Legions grouped up into warbands. At times, those warbands to form Malcador's Knights Errant.
Knights Errant. That is very interesting. I kind of want to search that one up. Knights Errant 40k. There we go. Knights Errant 40k were a mysterious body of Space Marine warriors that was formed at the express orders of Malcador, the acting region of Terra, following the betrayal of Istvan III during the opening days of the Horst Heresy. And with Pinnacle chosen of Malcador, a secret army sent to the far reaches of the Imperial Man to prosecute the Sigillites' silent war. With the Praetor of Terra, Primarch Roland Dawn of the Imperial Fist, and other missions the Sigillite determined vital to the Imperial's victory. History. There's a lot of lore to this, but yeah, that's a lot of lore to get into. But yeah, Knights Errant. Yep. Successor of various Space Marine Legion origins, chapters, Grey Knights founding, Grand Master drawn from 8 Psychic Knight Errant. That's pretty cool. Yeah, didn't know about them either. So that was very interesting. But yeah, a lot of this was you know, definitely very cool. You know, having the Night Lord join the Raven Wing, and then of course the Raven Wing.
Joined up with the Night Lords.
Joining the Night Lords.
How this defection occurred.
So yeah, that's very cool stuff. Yep, Warrior, the Alpha Legion one. The Alpha Legion one was very cool too. I hope we get like more, I don't know, more lore and stuff like that about. There we go, about the Alpha Legion. You know, maybe get something on like their, you know, just whatever they're up to. Because they do sound like a very interesting chapter, so it is what it is. So anyways, there we go. There's the video. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about every time a Space Marine changed their chapter / Legion? So let me know all your thoughts and comments. Let me know what you guys think about this. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And of course, if there's any videos you guys want me to check out, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'd be happy to check it out and make a video on it. So other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.